Well, there's no uncutting that. All right, frame cut day. Frame cut day, cut frame day, cut day, frame day. I don't know. We're cutting a frame. Ate another tripod. So I'm trying to take my time here and measure this and make sure it's right and straight. And then I realized that's just not what I do. I do have a plumb bob, so I can at least get the cuts straight vertically and level. First things first, let's make a mark. 4 3/4. We've wasted enough time on this. I'm gonna mark it, I'm gonna cut it, and I'm not gonna look back. Who do I trust? Me. Last thing I want to do is cut that. Just get it up out of the way. Go ahead and put that back on there so I don't lose it. Center of the hump, 3.5 back. Putting our faith in engineering in a piece of trim that's probably not straight. All right, so that's kind of exciting. Can you feel the excitement? Okay, so I've cut the top lines. I've cut the inners. I've cut the inner cuts on both sides. I used the plumb bob from the top to get a mark on the bottom of the frame without cutting the outer of the frame. So now in theory, I should have 2 marks underneath. I'm gonna lay down and I'm gonna cut the bottom of the frame here. So what you're seeing is I'm gonna cut the underneath cuts first. Yeah. How about that? Mario Kart. Da, 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 da. The only reason we're doing this is because the frame fits the Explorer. It doesn't fit the 57 Ford F100 at all from the wheels back. So call me crazy. I'm gonna see if I can just flip that upside down. Yep, that's there, all right. So one-man show, isn't it? Oh, man. Easy, easy. Hey, that's pretty close to where it needs to be, actually. Maybe onto something here. I'll tell you one thing, though. Even if it's just the rear section, once you cut the frame off of something, the build gets really serious. Like, it creates this sense of urgency to get it finished. But it's fine. It's not going anywhere. I don't have to feed it. Holy jeez, that looks cool without that hanging off the back of it. Okay, so what are we doing? What we are doing is I'm going to cut these mounts off. Save those for later. I'm going to prep this to re-weld back on, to re-weld, not re-weld, to weld back to the, to put it back together. Yeah, so let's get these off, and then next thing's next will be mock up and try to determine how to put this back on. Maverick has decided to part ways with Mugg Customs. It's nothing personal. Opened the door yesterday. Some of the sunlight popped out. Literally flew out, got on the roof of the house, looked back at me as if to say, we'll see you next time. And no sooner as I said, oh, he's finally outside, he's gone. So I do want to thank him for his impact on the shop. Coincidentally, last January, about this time, we had a bird. I like to think it's the same bird. I like to think that this is a refuge for homing pigeons when they get tired of work and need a break from bird jobs and just like to hang out here. So he will be missed. Maverick, if you're watching this, we'll see you next time, buddy. Okay, so I've got the top, the sides welded on both sides. I haven't done the bottom. I'm gonna cut this brace out. I'm gonna grind all this flat. I'll get under there, weld the bottom, and then I'm also gonna do some plates. I'm gonna plate the inside of the frame and the outside just to give it a little more strength. So yeah, I feel like it's gonna work. Back to work. So originally the problem was the frame kicked up too tall for the truck bed. I'm committing to the body of the truck, not the chassis. On these Crown Vic swaps, it's different. You know you're gonna have to cut into the bed floor and you accept that. This swap, the possibility of not having to cut into the floor, or at least not having to cut into the floor a lot, still exists, and that's the play I wanna chase. So that's why, instead of building a whole new floor or cutting out the floor of the bed, just cut the tail section of the Explorer frame off, flipped it upside down, stuck it back into place, and welded it together. Hopefully, this will give the bed, the body of the truck, enough space to live, and if it doesn't, at least we're closer than we were. It's not wasted energy as far as I'm concerned.